Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to another episode of the Hollywood Steve Wrestling Podcast on YouTube, guys. Make sure before we get started, guys, make sure you guys hit that like button, ring that bell for notifications, guys. Comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, guys. Give this video a big old thumbs up, guys. Alright, make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment, everything, guys. Alright, so we're going to just going to dive into a review of SmackDown from Friday night, guys. So, as we all know, Sami Zayn, the Usos, Solo Sikoa, and the Bloodline have been running roughshod basically over the last week. Earlier in the week, they pretty much tore apart the Raw set, and then again this week they pretty much tore apart the SmackDown broadcast set. Ever since Roman and Sami ever since Roman and Sami lost to John Cena and Kevin Owens. So ever since then, Sami and the rest of the Usos and Solo and Sami have just been running roughshod over WWE and making the point that the Bloodline run the show, that the Bloodline run everything. Well, that that hasn't sat too well, So anyway, so SmackDown kicks off with Sami Zayn, Solo Sikoa, and the Usos tearing apart the broadcast set in the wake of Sami and Roman losing to John Cena and Kevin Owens last week on Raw, right? So Roman then came out to the ring with Paul Heyman, Michael, and then I did not know that Roman has been champion this long. Michael Cole said that Roman has been champion for 859 days. That's, 859 days, guys. I did not know that it had been that long of a title run for Roman thus far. I did not know that until Michael Cole made the reference on SmackDown. So Roman's been running the show for 859 days. That is crazy. So Michael Cole also said that outside of a disqualification, the loss that Roman and Sami took was his first loss in 3 years. That's pretty amazing. But also, I thought was kind of funny, Wade Barrett actually made the point that Sami Zayn lost the match, not Roman. And Roman made reference to that Sami was the one that got pinned, not Roman. And so, Sami starts getting chewed out by Roman. And then, of course, Kevin Owens' music hits, and then Kevin Owens came out, challenged Roman to a match for the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship at Royal Rumble. And obviously we know that Kevin is not going to win that match. I mean, that's obvious, right? That is completely obvious. Kevin is not going to win that match because we know that it's going to be Cody who's going to dethrone Roman. I mean, that is the that is the plan. That has been the plan. That has been the plan for quite a while now. Sorry guys, I'm talking as I'm adjusting my camera here and my setup. There we go. Just so you guys can see me better. So yeah. Obviously Kevin's not going to win. I mean that we know that. That's a given. That's a given. Kevin's not going to win the match. But he's definitely going to more than likely give Roman a good match, or run for his money. At least that. And then Sammy, of course, he's in the corner of the ring looking scared to death, which of course, as he should be. I mean, he lost with the Tribal Chief as his tag team partner. I would be very scared too. And if you guys can believe, the Royal Rumble is only 4 weeks away. In 4 weeks' time, 4 weeks' time, guys, we are going to be on the road to WrestleMania. That is crazy. So, later on, Sami Zayn and Paul Heyman are backstage after we get back from an ad break. Sami and Paul are backstage, and Sammy's like, I need to talk to the Tribal Chief. I need to explain to him. What, that I wasn't trying to, be the authority. I wasn't trying to do any of that kind of stuff, and and, Sammy's kind of trying to plead his case a little bit, but Paul Heyman reminded him about last week when Paul Heyman said that on the island of relevancy, they are always 2 or 3 steps ahead, and it was not a good time to talk to Roman. But then Paul Heyman also said that even being 2 or 3 steps down the road was dangerous. So, and we know Sammy as the master strategist. So we know that Sammy is always thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead of everybody else. So that Sammy is, I know that Sammy is 2 or 3 steps down the road ahead of Roman. And that doesn't sit well with the Tribal Chief. We know that doesn't sit well with Roman. That doesn't sit well with him, right? I mean, if I was Roman, that wouldn't sit well with me either. Now, so then we got Liv Morgan declaring herself for the women's Royal Rumble match. Okay, Liv Morgan's in the Royal Rumble match. Okay, fine, cool, whatever. Okay, cool, fine. And then Scarlett made her SmackDown in-ring debut with Karrion Kross in a mixed tag match against Madcap Moss and Emma. Kross picked up the win for he and Scarlett, hitting the cross hammer and then putting Madcap in the cross jacket to pick up the win. And then Charlotte Flair came out. She came out thanking the fans, helping her get to her 14th women's title win, winning her 14th women's title, which I think is cool. I guess they're kind of doing they're going to kind of do the Flair thing with her, and get her to be, up to 16, and Sonya Deville came out, and Sonya Deville. Okay, random, right? Random Sonya Deville. She came out and she challenged Charlotte for her title. Of course, Charlotte accepted, and then she beat Sonya in a few minutes with the figure eight, and then next we got Top Dollar versus Ricochet to qualify for the Royal Rumble match. And then before the start of the match, we got a small vignette of Lacey Evans and her return. So she's apparently going to be doing this new... looks like she's going to be doing this new military... military veteran, Navy Marine vet type character, which is cool. I love that. I just hope that they do it right. I was talking to some other friends of mine last night, and we were talking about just this very thing, the creative direction. Triple H has had WWE for 3-4 months, and he hasn't really changed anything. And as we know, Vince is now back in the WWE. Vince is now back on the board of directors. He got himself back on as head of the board of directors, which I don't know why. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why Vince just can't go away and be gone and stay retired and let Triple H run the WWE the way he wants to run it. But theory is the reason Vince came back is that he's going to sell the WWE sooner than later. Now, whether he wants to sign it to Disney Plus, NBC Universal, or Saudi Arabia wants to buy it. Now, if Saudi Arabia buys it, I am going to I will not watch WWE anymore ever again if Vince decides to sell to Saudi Arabia. I will not watch the WWE anymore. I'm going on record here on the Hollywood Steve Wrestling Podcast right now. I am going on record. I will not watch WWE if they are sold to Saudi Arabia or Disney Plus. I will not watch, because for one, it is going to be watered down even more than it's watered down now. If you look at the product, just look at the product. Look at how the look at the product. Look at how watered down the product is, and I don't want to compare to AEW, but me and my friends were talking about last night how much better AEW is than WWE. And yes, I'm a WWE mark. I've been a huge fan for years. For 30 some years I've been a fan. But I keep hoping for change, and change isn't happening. Change isn't happening fast enough, and I get that I get that change takes time. I understand that. I get that. But there comes a point where the change needs to happen sooner than late. The change needs to happen at a faster pace than what it's happening. If WWE is going to have Triple H's fingerprints all over it, or Paul Levesque's fingerprints all over it, then it needs to have his fingerprints. It needs to not have Vince getting his grubby little fingers in the pie. If it's going to be Triple H's deal, it needs to be Triple H's deal. If it's going to be Stephanie McMahon, Triple H, and Nick Khan, it needs to be Stephanie, Triple H, and Nick Khan. Period. That's it. End of discussion. That's it. That's who it needs to be running WWE, not Vince. Vince needs to have nothing to do with WWE anymore. He needs to have nothing to do with the World Wrestling Federation, World Wrestling Entertainment anymore. He needs to retire and just be done and not have anything to do with it anymore. But as I was saying, I know I've gone on a rabbit trail here, but I feel this is an important piece of the discussion. Me and my friends were talking, and if you look at the product, if you look at how WWE does their TV and their product, they're all about entertaining. And yes, it is about entertaining. Don't attack me in the comments. Okay? Don't attack me in the comments. Wrestling is about entertaining. But when that's your main focus, when your main focus is entertaining and you forget about the wrestling, how important the wrestling is in the ring, how important the stories are, how important building a story arc is and telling a story and getting to the end of that story in progression and telling a really good story in that story arc with an incredible payoff, that is where I think that's where AEW is excelling, because they know how to do long-term storytelling. Whereas WWE, and I've said this before in the past, WWE's Achilles heel has always been they don't know how to do long-term storytelling. They never have been. And Triple H knows how to do those long-term stories. He knows how to tell those long-term stories. But he continues to not do that. He continues to follow the Vince way of doing that, of telling a story. With being head of creative, he still is following the Vince pattern. Instead of carving out his own pattern for telling stories, instead of doing the NXT way of telling stories. Because when Triple H and Shawn Michaels were running NXT, you guys know how incredible the wrestling was, how incredible the stories were, how incredible the matches were. So the matches were absolutely bangers, right? They were banging matches. Banging. They were awesome. But now you watch a WWE show and it's like, okay, yeah, that was a great match. But where's the good story? The good story behind the match doesn't follow. Anyway, I digress. Back to what we had here. I was talking Top Dollar going up against Ricochet. Ricochet qualifies after hitting the 450, his 450 frog splash. Interestingly, it's Hit Row. Okay, I know, it's Hit Row. But post-match, we got a Hit Row heel turn. Now, I didn't expect that. But apparently, Top Dollar has taken umbrage with Ricochet critiquing his over-the-top move that he apparently did last week and botched. So apparently Top Dollar is taking umbrage with that with Ricochet bringing up that botch and showing how he's the better wrestler, blah, 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 right? All that. Okay. So Braun comes out, defends Ricochet, Okay, so we're probably going to get Top Dollar versus Brock, or versus Braun Strowman, the monster of all monsters. Okay, woo, okay, whatever. I'm not impressed with that one. And then we get Sammy. Then we got Sammy and Roman backstage. In Roman's locker room, Sammy is apologizing. Roman does not accept his apology. He tells him the only way that he can make it up to him, and this is per Paul Heyman, from Paul Heyman, per the Tribal Chief, is that Sammy has to go one-on-one next week against Kevin Owens. And Sammy has to win to basically get back into the good graces of the Tribal Chief and to redeem himself. And then we got our main event, Sheamus and Drew McIntyre for the went up against the Usos for the undisputed WWE Tag Team titles. Of course, Jey Uso helped Jimmy by using his feet putting his feet up on the apron behind the referee's back to get Sheamus for the 3 count. So there you go. There's SmackDown. Not very eventful. Not really eventful. Overall, it was a good episode. It was an alright episode. I mean, we're gonna have to find out when the ratings come out what the overall fan experience was for SmackDown, the overall numbers. But in my opinion, SmackDown was just average. It was just an average show. I mean, it was good. It was great. I love it when Roman's on. He makes the show better, but this is why I say that AEW is that much better than WWE. This is why I struggle with this is also why I struggle with, but I love WWE, but AEW puts on such a much better product. They know how to tell stories well. They tell the story and it comes to completion. And you have a good story arc, and it ebbs and flows, and there's all these little twists and turns. I mean, you look at the Hangman Page, Kenny Omega saga match. I mean, look at that. Look at the Hangman storyline when he was champion. Look at that. Look at all that time. It was a 2-year build to that. 4 months WWE does a story. That's it. That's their longest story. And and the other thing that I was talking about with my friends last night was there is really nobody to challenge Roman. And putting those both titles on Roman Reigns, I mean, it should never have happened. I get they're trying to build Roman up. I get they're trying to build him. But I just don't. It's been 3 years. 895 days the guy has been champion because there's nobody in that heavyweight division that is capable of challenging Roman and beating him outside of Cody Rhodes. Outside of Cody. Now, I just dribbled my coffee a little bit. Whoops. Dribbled my coffee. Now, I don't know. I mean, I want to know. I want to know what you guys think. I don't know how you guys feel about this. I don't know if it'd be good to revisit the Seth Rollins feud. If that was just a one-time deal. You know, if that was just a one-time thing. But it seems that outside of Roman Brock, there's really nobody else that is able to beat Roman right now. And I don't want Brock to come back and take the title off of Roman again. I don't want that. I don't want that storyline again. It's that same storyline over and over again, and it goes to what I've said on this channel many times. WWE does not know how to build wrestlers for championships to beat the next champion. They don't know how to build them. The next guy to be the next challenger for their top champion. Now, if WWE knew how to do that, you would have a long line, a long list of contenders for Roman's undisputed title. But since WWE does not know how to build wrestlers, build the next guy up to challenge their top champion, you just kind of, it's the same thing in the tag division. Who else other than the New Day and recently the Brawling Brutes are going to challenge the Usos? There's nobody, because that tag division is so weak that there's no tag teams. I mean, they had to throw Sheamus and Drew together to be in a tag match against the Usos. That they don't have depth. That's the biggest problem that I think is what's turning away WWE fans is to AEW. Is you look at the depth of the roster of AEW, you look at their tag division, it's deep. It's a deep division. I mean, they have dual tag teams, they have triples tag teams. I mean, their tag division is so deep that they had to go and do 3-man tags, 6-man tags, and make titles for their 6-man tag division. That's how deep their roster is. That's how deep their divisions are. And you know, and one of my friends was saying he would want to see WWE bring back like the, you know, you have your tag division, you have your heavyweight division, he would want to see the European Championship come back. You have the Intercontinental division, you have, you know, your Cruiserweight division. I mean, but you have to have the guys. And if you don't have roster depth, then you can't build guys properly, and that's WWE's biggest problem. But I think that's why, and that's also why Triple H is trying to bring these guys back to WWE that have left. I mean, your Bronson Reeds, your Emmas, your bring guys up, bring people up, Io Sky, Dakota Kai, so I get it, but again, I'm a WWE fan. I like the WWE, but I'm telling you guys, if WWE keeps going in this direction with, I don't know, man. I mean, so overall, back to SmackDown. Overall, SmackDown was a pretty okay episode. It was pretty good. It was decent. It was a decent episode. It was a good watch. Like I said, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Turn on that bell for notifications. Ring that bell, actually, for notifications, guys. And remember, this is Hollywood Steve. And when you're Hollywood Steve, it's for life, brah.